The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO Radio back on the air following the American Rebel Light Beer Virginia Nationals. I'm Joe Castello and super excited. We're going to connect with a couple of the winners of the big event. We got Austin Prock. He is queued up in the ready room and ready to go. So if you're a fan of John Force Racing, Austin Prock, you want to talk a little funny car action, share this show, whether you're watching on YouTube or X. X is a big one for us, honestly. They, I guess, have prioritized like live shows and live streaming. And so we get a lot of our listeners from X. So share the show, repost, please do that. And we appreciate you greatly. Also on the show, Larry Spiderman McBride. Larry McBride wins again at Virginia Motorsports Park, wins Top Fuel Motorcycle. We're going to talk with Spiderman about his big win and whatever else crosses our mind. And Gaige Herrera going to be on the show as well. What a difference in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Like, how about like Larry is the perfect pivot between Austin and Nitro and Gaige in Pro Stock Motorcycle. He can talk about both of them. So we're going to have a great show. And of course, we're going to delve into the whole Sean Langdon disqualification, Justin Ashley named winner situation in the final segment. Jason Galvin, who would normally come on the show, was double booked as we're getting ready for Norwalk. Just days from now, like hours from now, in fact, we'll be heading out to America's Racetrack and Summit Motorsports Park. So we'll catch up with Jason Galvin next week on Tuesday, and we'll recap all of it. But the whole DQ situation, I don't know. I think it's a little more complex than people are making it out to be. Save up your comments, and I'll attack them or tackle them, more appropriately said, later on in the show. But let's bring on the man who got the job done. What an emotional weekend it was. John Force back at the track where we nearly lost him, but the resultant funny car was the same. He joins us now, Austin Prock. What's up, Austin? Welcome back.
Not much. How you doing, Joe?
I'm great. Not as good as you. You won again. But I joked with your dad. The long national nightmare is over after losing first round 2 races in a row, right? Like tough stuff, but you erased that with a victory.
Yeah, for sure. We did exactly what we wanted to do this weekend. Obviously, we'd been beating ourselves up after the last 2 weekends, and just everything wasn't jiving like it has been. I haven't been driving as well, and, we just have made some I guess, poor decisions, on getting the race car up and down the racetrack. We're still learning this new setup, and it's obviously getting closer, but we finally, put it all together. Everyone raced smart, and we worked as a team, and, we were able to get the job done. So to do it there in Richmond, go back to back, win for Force again, that was pretty special, and, something we obviously cherish.
Yeah, let's start right there. So I just watched a great interview with KCLA with John from last week, the 20th, in the Yorba Linda shop. I didn't really see it the first time out. You know how social media is. Sometimes you miss something and then sometimes you catch something. I just saw the Dale Jr. Tony Stewart comments days ago. Apparently they're a month old, but whatever. It is what it is. John looked so great in that interview. And he walked out on stage. You were backstage, I'm sure, when he went to walk out on stage to give Brittany a kiss as her number 1 qualifier interview happened. And it really drove home what has happened in this last year. Like the whole sport has been through, but you guys especially being so close. And it brought me back to that moment last year where you rose to the occasion, you won it, and you go out there and you win it again. You beat Jack in the final round, like total John Force Racing moment here this weekend.
Yeah, no, it was definitely special. Last year, that was a hard race to to finish. A lot of emotions going on through all of our minds. We didn't really know what, scenario we were going to end up with John. And obviously the good Lord blessed us all, and obviously he's safe. So this weekend it was a hard win, definitely tough conditions, but a lot easier mentally than the year before. But to bring it home, have both JFR funny cars in the final, that was, you couldn't have written it up any better. And, for us to come out on the right end of the stick this time, racing Jack sure felt good.
Right. So that's kind of an interesting storyline, right? Because now you're running against John's car in the final round. But at that point, JFR has already won. So, sorry, Jack, sorry, John, sorry, everybody. But you have a responsibility to Cornwell Tools to go out there and put it on them. Yeah,
absolutely. No matter who's in the other lane, we obviously want to win. But when we do have both JFR funny cars in there, we can't lose. So all of our partners are on each and every single race car. So when I win, Peak wins, Monster wins, HendrickCars.com wins, Chevrolet wins, and vice versa with the other two cars. That's one great thing about John Force Racing. So we're one big team, and to race him in another final round was definitely great for our company. I'm sure we're going to race each other much more this season.
Yeah, no, well, exactly. Right down to the wire, perhaps. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see. But let's delve into a little tune-up stuff, excuse me, before we go into the round by round, because you said, we're getting used to this new setup. And so I think that a lot of people might be confused. Why change the setup? You dominated the entire season last year. You crushed them. They weren't close. And yet that's what Jimmy Prock does, right? Like, okay, this was great. We know how to do that already. Let's try to do something even better. But can you put some meat on that bone? Like why switch it up?
Well, some of it has to do with our clutch disc inventory. Our clutch discs are kind of like the heartbeat of the race car. We always say clutch is king, and you don't have the same discs on the shelf, for 10 years in a row. You only get them for, you only get a big enough batch to run a season or a season and a half. So some of it had to do with that, running out of inventory towards the end of the last year, or not towards the end of the last year, after the season was over. We had just enough to get through the season. So we had to change a pretty good chunk of our clutch pack, which all these discs, you can make them the same over and over again, and they just never react the same. You got to tickle it just a little bit different. And that's just the way nitro racing is. So some of it had to do with that. And then, my dad, he's forever evolving this setup. Obviously everybody's seen how much more competitive the class is this year. Everybody's really stepped their game up after last season, and we expected that, and we wanted to level up as well to, kind of maintain our edge or at least, stay competitive with everybody else. So, you're always tickling these race cars, and runs are a premium. You only get so many shots at it, and it's expensive to drag it up there and test. So, you definitely have to have a game plan, be very diligent and smart with the decisions you're going to make, and change things that hopefully are going to benefit the race car, or if they don't, make sure you chalk that up as don't go down that avenue. So everybody's been doing an outstanding job. It's like our race car hasn't been running bad this season. We're tied with the same amount of wins that we had last year after Richmond. We just don't quite have that success. We've gone out first round, or we've gone to the finals, or won. So I think we're 50-50 right now. So just got to get a little bit more consistency out of this car, but it's showing a lot of potential. I believe that it can, be competitive like it was last year once we get all these things ironed out. And I believe this Cornwell Tools team is getting really close to that.
Yeah. And everybody else out there who's involved in the sport just cringed a little bit, because it was, unless you were a John Force Racing fan, you loved it. And everybody else was like, they got thumped. Congratulations, says Fast Eddie, one of our WFO people. Like a lot of people out there wishing you congratulations. Congratulations on your win, says Blake, who's out there. Always love seeing those congratulations. Let's talk about it. Number one qualifier. Jack Beckman, only car in the threes in qualifying. The first qualifying session, like right off the trailer of the three, was the run that stuck. Makes sense, because it just got hotter and hotter and hotter. They nailed it off the trailer. The three qualifying sessions on Saturday, it was crazy hot. I felt like the crowd was good considering, but looking back now, is this still the way? Is this still the right way to do it? I was, Caps mentioned pushing everything back, trying to run at night. I talked to a lot of people, and there's some reasons why that might not be a good idea, dew point, and it would take a lot of luck to not have to deal with that. What did you think, having gone through that Saturday 3-session experience on the surface of the sun?
Well, I think that format's nice. From a owner's standpoint, having a 2-day show, that's really the only easy way that these team owners and companies can save money doing this sport. Taking out a day of travel and a night of hotel rooms, essentially a little bit less nitromethane to buy. So I think it's a good avenue to go down. I enjoyed running the 3 runs on Saturday. I know my crew chiefs did as well, just because you get a taste of what you're going to get on Sunday. You get that morning run, you get that afternoon run, you get that kind of final round run. So from that standpoint, it's pretty cool, but you really have to have your ducks in a row because those turnarounds are so quick. On an average weekend, you have a few hours in between sessions. And if your stuff's not really dialed in, you have a lot of time to digest it, think about it, make smart decisions, where when you're running 3 runs on Saturday, you better show up and be prepared, because you just got to keep rifling that thing up there. And I think that led to some of the reason the cars that smoked the tires Q1, it took them a little bit to get a handle on it, whether they smoked the tires 2 runs in a row or some of them even 3. And those were, class of the field cars that were doing things like that. So I think it definitely makes it a little bit more challenging. But I thought our crowd was great on Saturday. At the beginning of the day, they just couldn't hang around in that heat. And, unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do about that unless you move the event, or like Cap said, maybe try a night run. But I've ran at night there in Richmond, and I've had my windshield fog up. You get to dew point, and you just got to stand on the gas and hope that it clears up by 100 feet. So it's definitely a little dangerous when you get close to that dew point. The race car can lose traction really quick. So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. The heat, it was what it was, and you just got to put your helmet on and go to work. And like Forrest told me last year there, it was obviously really hot, and he said, this heat's just a mental thing. Just don't worry about it. And I kind of had that attitude again this year, and seemed to deal with it fine, just pounding a lot of water.
That's what you got to do. You got to stay hydrated. That's where you can break down, is getting dehydrated. We saw Smoke with the moment get a little dehydrated, but he got going again. Kara, big John Force Racing fan, says, great job, Austin. Love JFR. Keith says, what big ring are you wearing? What's that ring you're wearing? I believe that is the World Championship ring, Keith. Or is that the replica that we're giving away for ticket? Did you renew your tickets for next year?
I did not, but I need to get my grandfather one of those rings. He's been hounding me over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody loves them. I have one right here. I think we could probably get you one, Austin, but it does open up a can of worms, because everybody wants one.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can get them a real one at the end of next year.
Can you slide me the champ one, man?
Yeah. You're going to have to earn that one. All right. So first round.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Is that this year's ring?
This is the replica that we're doing ticket renewal of next year's ring.
Oh, next year's. Okay.
Next year.
All
so
right.
you have to do it again.
So I'm going to have to win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. If we're going to go there, Austin, like the real deal is, if you're going to win the championship in the 75th season of the National Hot Rod Association and get the real deal one of this ring, because you imagine it would be amazing, then you'll have to win 3 championships in a row, which I don't think hasn't been done since John Force.
Yeah, well, I'll give my best go at it.
That's it. That's all you can do. But it's kind of cool that we're like talking about goals. Like, you want it done. Sure. You like, you
got to manifest it, right?
You do. Some might say you could skip this season, but I don't think the team is going to be happy to hear you say that.
No, I wouldn't be happy. I want to drive this thing every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So first round, you went up against Cruz Pedregon. He was a kind of an unlikely number 15 qualifier. They've been better. They won 412, but you on cork a 399. What happened on the starting line on that run? Take me back, because he's 111, you're 96. That's neither of you is like normal. Was everything normal?
Yeah. All weekend, if you paid close attention, everybody's reaction times were a little down. After the first day, I was kind of frustrated with myself, because I was living in the mid 70s. I was, I think, 78, 79, 72. And that does not cut it for myself. I don't tolerate that. And at the end of the day, I went and looked at the sheet and I'm like, man, everybody's kind of off, but I didn't really cut myself any slack because I know I should be better than that. Sunday morning, I actually had a talk with Jack, and Jack said, he thought that the beams were a little screwed up, and it sounded like everybody thought that. Everybody's reaction times were down, and it was so hot out. Everybody had the least amount of primary weight on their clutch that we probably ever had, which doesn't really help with the reaction of the race car. So, it just kind of had to chalk that up as this is what it is, and just make sure you're better than the guy in the other lane. And we're definitely better than Cruz first round. He had the top bulb out, and he was 111, I think, and I was 96 shallow. So that was a pretty good jump off the starting line. But just nothing wrong with what he did. He took the top bulb out late, and that's, everybody has the right to do that. There's no hard feelings in that. Everybody has the right to stage and race how they want to race, as long as it's within the rules. And I just have to do my job and focus on my side of the Christmas tree and not let things like that distract me. And, luckily it didn't enough.
I like hearing that as a discussion with it's, pops up every now and again. I like the idea of some starting line gamesmanship. And if you can make it work, that's your business. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, we're professional race car drivers. We have the right to, race however we want to race, as long as it's within the rules. And if you're the one, getting the games played on you, or you're the one playing the games, you still have to focus and do your job, and try not to let your race team down.
Absolutely. Second round, we saw a little bit more of that, and that was a wild one because you said in the media center, you sometimes you need a lucky round, and you're up in smoke, and Tasca goes flying by you, but then he's going by the center line and he clips the block, and I'm on the starting line with Aaron Brooks, and it's so unfortunate we didn't have a camera. I mean, I guess because genuine emotion, right? Like those moments like you with the Suburban on the top end the race before, like Aaron raged for a second and walked away. DQ, hit the block.
Yeah, no, that was unbelievable. That thing spun, and I caught it, and I got back on it, and I didn't see him. When you're driving these race cars, these runs feel like an hour. You're just processing so much information in such a short amount of time. Time kind of slows down, and it spun, and I didn't hear him. I didn't see him. I get back on it. I get the thing hooked up, and I go a few, probably 100 feet, and all of a sudden I see him blazing by me, and I knew he was close to the center line, but I couldn't, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, because when these things spin the tires, you got to have a bunch of focus on what's going on to not crash these race cars. So, I was just doing my job and pull the parachutes. I get right on the radio. I'm like, sorry, guys. Maybe could have caught it a little bit quicker. Might have changed the outcome, but he was blowing by me with pretty good head of steam. But I was frustrated, obviously, and it was probably maybe 10 seconds between me saying that and being disappointed. And then Thomas gets on the radio and says, dude, you won. And I'm like, no way. Like, how in the heck? And those 10 seconds felt like 4 hours. Like, it was just complete disappointment to through the roof, adrenaline going. So yeah, that was getting those round wins like that. It's definitely a big swing of emotions in a short amount of time, but I was glad to be on the right end of the stick there.
It's going to go around. That's part of drag racing. Bob was obviously very disappointed, but you got the round win. You go to the semis where you run J.R. Todd, who's already got a win this year. That team reemerging, got Dickey over there, but a 411 at 310, enough to get the win as they smoked the tires to send you to the final round.
Yeah, the track got really tricky there. It went down the toilet in a hurry, and I don't think any of the crew chiefs really anticipated that, looking at all the tire smoke that was out there. And we dogged ours up, and when you pull these things back and push the clutch out and slow the clutch down, now your fuel system is kind of out of sync, and you kind of chase those two things together as a tuner, and just had a little bit too much fuel in it. Dropped a cylinder, I think, maybe at the 330 or before. So it was on 7 cylinders to run 411, and which, by the end of the round looked like a hero run, but definitely wasn't what we wanted to do. But it was good enough to turn on the win. So that's a tough race car over there. And I know that Dickie Venables, he'll have that thing flying here shortly. He's very well respected out here.
Yeah, no doubt. Love Dickey, one of these legendary guys out there. That sets up the final round, 406 to 407. You're 70 on the tree, so a wire-to-wire win, but in a very close and entertaining race.
Yeah, no, that was a great show for the fans. you can't really ask for much better race than that. So we were 70 and 75 on the tree, and a 406 to a 407 with the same change. I think we were both with a 1. So it was a heck of a drag race, and I think Jax might have got a little loose down there. He looked like it was slipping around down track. So that might have been the difference, but I was definitely glad to turn on the win light and not give one away like I did in Chicago.
So you've got the points lead by 60 over Jack. Paul Lee hanging tough. Good year, 99. Yeah. Caps 166, Hagen 195. So you guys there's something out there this year. There's money out there. There's the regular season champion. It's never been awarded before. I know you want it.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime there's cash on the line, you're gunning for it. So I think that's really great what the NHRA did. Rewarding the regular season points leader. So, I wish they would have done it, 5 years ago, John Force Racing, they would have racked in quite a bit of cash, but just grateful that it's happened this year. And hopefully we can walk away with it. Me and Jack 1-2 and roll into the countdown and hopefully continue our dominance that we've had on the field so far, but it sure is going to be tough. A lot of race cars are running great right now. And I know that they're just going to keep stepping it up. And I know when they line up next to me, they've been taking shots and, everyone's been doing a really good job in the other lane. So it's going to be tough. I believe it's going to be more difficult than it was last year, but we're up for the challenge, and to win 2 of these championships in a row would be unbelievable. I mean, as tough as this category is, it just says a lot about how hard this Cornwall Tools HendrickCars.com team works. It's all paying off, and hopefully we can continue that.
Headed to Norwalk. This is a fan favorite type of place. One of the great racetracks. It's always packed. The grass perfectly manicured. Bill Bader, smiling faces, holding doors for you. The ice cream scoop, special trophy, all of that stuff makes this one you want to win.
Yeah, for sure. And it's Cornwall Tools' backyard. We're going to have a lot of Cornwall Tools dealers and employees out there, and a lot of the higher ups. So Bob Studnick and Don Russell, they'll be there. We're going to surprise them with a little gift this weekend, which is exciting. And to get a win there in Norwalk, I've never won there, but to do it in Cornwall Tools' hometown like that would be really special. So it's a close one for a lot of my family. We're going to have family and friends there this weekend. And we always love going to Bader's racetrack. It's a class act there. They do a great job. Very clean, very organized, and good racing surface. So hot conditions again this weekend, but obviously we worked out pretty well last weekend in those. So hopefully we can do it again. But hot temps and some ice cream sounds great.
Okay, so are you an ice cream eater? The ice cream eating contest, I believe it's the 5th annual, reaching a milestone, maybe 6th. The contest is full, so we don't need you this year. Mm-hmm. It's already full. The slot for Funny Car has been filled. But had I asked you, is that something you would ever do in the future? Should another spot come, would you try to eat as much ice cream as you can in a minute for, competitive stuff?
Absolutely not. I don't eat ice cream. I just said it for the fans.
Okay. Well, that's why I asked you. All right. Hey, let's bring on Larry McBride real quick, because I know you guys have got a connection in history. Larry has given your dad a lot of credit. Larry? What's up, guys? Larry, congratulations. We're going to do a full interview with Larry. I just wanted to bring him on with Austin and say what's up.
I've been friends with his daddy for a long time. I've known him since he was just a baby running around the racetrack. So it's awesome to see what he does. And I was fortunate enough to get to talk to him right before the last run. So did you have 40 or just 39?
41, I think.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
That's a little inside joke between me and Larry.
Okay, you don't get to hear about it, right?
I was just sitting there in the staging lane, so it was pretty awesome. He looks a little fresher than I do. I tell you what, I'm a little wore out from the heat. So it was very, very hot in Virginia, and then I wish they'd move it back to May. That's a good time to run. He could set records there in May.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if the track conditions were cool there, you'd be able to fly. You'd break every national record there was to break, I bet.
Wow.
It was so cool just listening to him saying what they was doing with the clutch and running, with the fuel system, because we was actually in the exact same boat. We had the lightest primary that we've ever had on the motorcycle, ever.
That's wild.
And of course, we wasn't using but one clutch flow. I mean, we wasn't letting the clutch flow on to like battle. I think it was like two 2.4, 2.5 seconds into the run is only using one flow. So, and then as Austin said, it screws up your fuel system. So now you're chasing two things, right? So,
yep.
But it was awesome. And I've had the fortune enough to be friends with his dad for a long time. So, to be able to follow, what these guys do and get the information, because, I go over to the trailer with Austin and his brother and his dad and all, and they sat down and tell me a lot of cool stuff that sometimes I don't share it. I try to keep it to myself. So it's a lot of information,
Yeah.
What
do you think about Austin? What do you think about what Larry does? Like, you obviously have courage, right? You have courage. What you do, there's courage there. What do you think about what Larry does?
Larry's the baddest dude in the pits. Yeah, nobody's got balls like Larry McBride. Yeah, I gotta look around. I guarantee you, there's some photos floating around. Like Larry was just saying, he comes over to our pit now, and we'll shoot the stuff. But when me and my brother, when we were little, running around the pits, we would always go over to Larry's pit, and he'd let us put on his leathers and his helmet, and we'd sit on his Harley. Obviously, we were big Spiderman fans as kids, and definitely a Larry McBride fan. So yeah, I'll have to hit my mom up, see if we can find some of those photos. I'll send them to you, Joe.
There you go. Please. I would love that. All right, Larry, we're going to let Austin go. I'll see you in a second. We're going to debrief on your win, but thank you for jumping on here real quick, Larry.
You got it. Thank you, Austin.
Cool.
And,
yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, man. You're a badass.
I appreciate it. You too, man. I'll catch you around.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
All right, so we'll see him now. We'll say goodbye to you, but the guy is amazing, right? Like, also the way he handles himself doing what he does, like crawling around on the bike, but he's cool. He's mellow.
Yeah, for sure. You'd never know that he's strapped on to a 250 mile an hour plus bike, but he does a heck of a job driving that thing or riding that thing. If anybody follows him on social media, he posted a video, I think it was yesterday, or at least I caught it yesterday. And this thing leaves, and it's, tires stuck, it's anchored down, and it gets out about 330 feet, and it blows the tires off like a Top Fuel car. And he gathers it back together and gets back in the throttle, and then it's snow plowing the front end, and he's about chopping the wall down at 1,000 feet to turn the wind light on. And, I see that, and I'm like, man, that guy is absolutely nuts. But yeah, he does a heck of a job driving that thing.
It's great entertainment, great stuff. But what you do is pretty cool as well. A quick note, by the way, Prock Rocket _TF. When are we going to switch the X account to Prock Rocket _FC? Unless there's a reason that I don't know what it is.
I've got yelled at by my social media team so many times changing that thing around. That's why I'm not verified, because I didn't know I was verified. And then if you change your handle, then it takes your verification away, and it's a real pain to get it back. So I'm just riding the Top Fuel wave. It was Prock Rocket _FC to begin with. And then, I started driving the Top Fuel car, and I wasn't allowed to change it because of all these things. And then when I got let go from driving, I went back to being a crew guy. So then it was Prock Rocket _CG for crew guy. And then it went back to Top Fuel when I got my ride back. So I'm just riding the wave now. I'm done getting yelled at.
Explanation totally understood. A whole social media rigmarole that we love it. _TF. He's the man. Definitely. All right, Austin. Thank you very much. See you in a couple days. Thank you for spending a little time with us right here on WFO Radio.
Cool. Thank you for having me on, Joe. Hopefully you'll have me on next week too.
Yeah, let's it's all up to you, bud. As long as you want to keep on doing it, we'll keep having you as you win these races. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
There goes Austin Prock with us here on WFO Radio. Pretty cool. We got Larry Spiderman McBride next. And then we got Gaige Herrera. Gaige is in the red room. I see you down there, Gaige. FYI. Hopefully you're cool to hang as we do the interview with Larry. But then we'll have Gaige on with Larry. How about that? And then we'll send Larry away, and it'll be great stuff. That is all happening right now. I do want to tell you before we hit the break about HusseyPerformance.net. David Allen and the team. Exhaust gaskets, oil pan gaskets, valve cover gaskets, but not just copper head gaskets anymore. They've got a great contingency program in Top Alcohol Dragster, Top Alcohol Funny Car, Top Sportsman, and Top Dragster in the NHRA and PDRA. It's Top Sportsman and Top Dragster. You want to learn more about this American-made product? 412-716-5555. 4872. Call David Allen and tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. Larry Spiderman McBride coming up next, right after this.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
And you can find out more at redlineoil.com, whether it's gear oil, fuel additives, water wetter. They've got so many great products, and we thank the folks for Redline Oil for coming on board with WFO Radio. All right, let's bring them on the show. Talk a little Pingle Top Fuel motorcycle with the winner. Once again, in Richmond, he's dominated this place, Mr. Spiderman McBride. All right, Larry, how are you, sir? Congratulations.
Everything's great. Still a little tired from all the heat, but, we're here and we're on WFO, so that's what's better than this?
You always surprise me, and I thank you for always thanking WFO Radio in your winter interviews. There's so many people out there in the NHRA universe that they're fans. That, some of them don't go to NHRA.com on a regular basis, right? They just love the cars and they check out the schedule at their local track. So you taking your winner's moment to even mention this thing that we do on Tuesdays. I really appreciate it.
Well, Joe, you're sick as we are. You got that passion.
It's true.
And I'm just so proud to have you as a part of what you do for drag racing, because I don't think you get enough, and I want to give you that little extra, show you the appreciation that we have for you, and try to get more viewers, try to get more things. Like in the days when you used to struggle. You've been doing this a long time, so it's not been an easy road for you.
It really hasn't. And we do still struggle, but it's fun. It's a passion. We're not working. We're trying to build drag racing as big as we can, make a living in drag racing as best as we can. I just had a conversation with a young lady who wants to work on a Top Fuel car the other day. Matt Hartford works together with a tech school, and he's like, would you talk to her? And we were talking to her, and she's got all kinds of drive and determination, and she wants to be involved. I was like, though, you're not going to become wealthy. You're not going to become a rich person doing this. Hopefully you're okay with that. And she said she was. So we'll see how it goes.
You got to get used to eating them bologna sandwiches and hot dogs. It's that's just part of it.
Who doesn't love a hot dog? Come on.
Oh man, what's better than that? But it's a struggle. It's no different in my deal, especially in motorcycle drag racing. It's tough. I'm not saying any hard in automotive racing too. It's it's hard. It's so you go out there and you do the best job you can get, and I'm very, very fortunate in my career. I've had great sponsors, and it's been with me for a lot of years. Pingle, I believe they're going 35 years with me. So
unreal.
It's been a great relationship. So I had Trim Techs for years. I think they was with me for 25 years. Redline Oil. I've been Redline Oil since 1994. So. All of my people, and it just goes to show you treat people right, and they're always going to stay with you. And sometimes when that grass looks a little greener on the other side, it's not. So sometimes you're better off to keep what you got, because it's been a long-term relationship than a short-term relationship that could possibly be more money. I like the long-term better.
I agree. And thanks for mentioning Redline. We had a great conversation at the start of the season. They're on board this year, and I really appreciate them. And just like to take a second to talk about it. Why talk about their product in your bike? I know that Redline is used by many, many of the Top Fuel cars, but we want to sell on their reputation for over-the-road cars. People, I know the Beamer guys love it. Their gear oil, all of that. A lot of the imports, the autocross guys using it. But why is it good for you?
Well, I tell you, it goes all the way back to when Tim Kerrigan owned Redline Oil. I actually called out there as a customer, I'm having problems. I'm running old GS 1150 motor, and we got rocker arms. And I'm just having problems murdering rocker arms. Just kept burning cams up in rocker arms. So I called up to Redline Oil. Who did they put me on the phone with? Tim Kerrigan, the owner of Redline Oil. So it was crazy. And I was telling him what was going on. They sent me some oil, and literally the problem went away. And I've been with Redline ever since. We sell exclusively in my shop. We're exclusively Redline oil. We don't sell anything else but that. If you're looking for something other than Redline, you came to the wrong store. So we carry all the V-twin, all the Harley V-twin oils, their transmission oils, which is one of the best. We actually use all of their V-twin oil. I actually use their V-twin transmission oil. I actually use in the hub of my truck, and my truck and trailer. It's extremely high pressure oil. It's I can't say enough about Redline. I've been with them for so long, and then Mark Beattie, what he does for the brand, and you see more and more people using Redline because once they go to it, I mean, you're not going to go back. There's no oil any better. I ain't gonna, I tell everybody this. There's really no bad oils today. There's just some that's a lot better than others. That's the way it works.
Wow, what a great way to say it. Because with modern technology, like maybe back in the day, there were some bad oils. They were black and they were slick, but they weren't what you need for a high performance application. And we're turning your interview into a Redline commercial, but why not? It's WFO.
I'm going to tell you, I need to shoot a commercial about when I take my motors apart and just show you bearings that come out of it. My bearings and pistons are. Mark Beattie made a suggestion to me earlier this year, and I'd always run 60-weight oil. I always had great luck with the 60-weight Redline. Well, we was having, as you make more power and all that, you run into different stuff. You need different weights of oil. Well, Mark suggested to me, let's go with the Nitro 70 like the cars do. Well, we started using the Nitro 70, and now everything even looks better. So it was a great. It was definitely a great suggestion by Mark, and the oil is just like fantastic. It's like glue, man. When you take it, you can put your hands in the parts washer. It's hard to wash the oil off, right? It's and when you take a motor apart, the oil is glued to the bearings. The bearings look, it's just, I can't even put it in words how good they look. You'd have to literally take a video of it and show people how good the oil looks.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it. All right. So I want to get Gaige in here in a few minutes. I do want to talk to you about a couple of moments because I want to see this class continue to grow. But first, Austin Prock mentioned one of your runs. Like you won the event, but you caught Austin's attention with that video that you dropped. And our great friend Braylon helping you out with social and doing a lot of video shooting this weekend, working on the bike, all of that, hats off to him. But tell us about that run because it's got to be wild to blow the tire off on top of a bike. And you have a little narrow tire to steer. It's not working. Walk us through that.
Well, it was tough for us to get down the track all weekend. It was really hard. We made a really good lap on Friday in the evening, on the evening pass there, which was awesome. Went 483 at, what did we run? 242.93. So,
and that's the new 1,000-foot speed record, as I understand it. No,
right,
yes, 1,000 foot's the new deal, and that's the new speed record, 242.
Right. And if you calculate the numbers to what we would be running, and you're looking at a run that in a quarter mile would be somewhere really close to 270. So it would have been cool to do that at Richmond again, right? To go out there and go 270. I mean, that's one of my goals. But, the 1,000-foot mark has really worked out good. But getting back to that run that you're talking about, we was really light on the clutch leaving, right? But when you start bringing the clutch to it, and what happens is you give it a little bit of clutch, and then it wants to act like a top fuel car, and it just blew the tire off of it. When it did, it was going to the wall. So you're trying to lean, and you're kind of turning out now it's just snow plowing the front wheel, and it just keeps going and going to the wall. So you got to lift. You have to lift. So we lifted. Well, I didn't see him, so I knew I had to get back into it, right? And it was just really nip and tuck right there. There again, I got lucky on that one, and Mitch unfortunately got the short end of the stick on that. So, but it's kind of like Austin said, you got to have a little luck. Luck in drag racing is a good thing.
Absolutely. And look at this. I didn't even know this. Team Redline out there saying what's up. They like me. they like you. Such an honor to know him, says Team Redline Oil. Thank you very much, Redline, for being out there in the audience as well. That's what I love about WFO, man.
It's all about.
Can I tell you, before we bring on Gaige, can I tell you something I thought was just super cool? Daniel Wilkerson and Justin Ashley and Dave Richards having a 3-person conversation about different stuff that they're hearing on WFO radio, like 3 talk radio guys, like talking about the show that they happen to listen to. They were actually talking about the new Life's a Drag show that we've added to our network. And it was like a mind blower that these 3 pros are out there watching the show, enjoying the network, the new content that's on there. It was just a total freakazoid moment for me personally. We got Redline in the audience. You watch the show from time to time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I used to watch it every Tuesday, and I don't know what's happening. It comes on at a different time now, but to have the Joe, to see all the Total Seal and all the people that's behind your show, and Redline coming on board, it shows what kind of job you're doing, and I like to mention you all the time because I think you're doing a great job. So,
all right.
We're going to stay behind you as long as I can breathe, man. We're going to stay behind you 100%.
I appreciate that. Now, I want to see more Top Fuel motorcycles out there. Hopefully this happens.
Got a lot of good things working for next year.
Good.
So everything's looking good.
People love them. Like, that's the thing. It's like, okay, people enjoy these. We love them.
We lost Dave Bantine. Dave pulled out. Dave has sold both of his bikes. A guy up in New York bought his bike that I built for him that he never raced, Richard Dees. He plans to come out and join NHRA. And a gentleman up in Canada bought his old bike. And from my understanding, Greg Pollard, which was one of the crew chiefs for Bantine, is going to help this guy. They're going out and testing. They're supposed to be coming on. So that's 2 more bikes. And hopefully with Jimmy Brantley, which, the Hulk that I'm involved with, I built him a new bike. Jimmy's he's unbelievably busy. But we're going to do, after September, we're going to test all winter with him. And hopefully that he's going to feel like he's up to par, be able to come out and compete in the NHRA. So if all of this works the way it looks good right now, if we can tie everything together, that'll give us 8 bikes. And we got to show the world, the NHRA, all the people that our class is growing. And we kind of disappointed everybody this year because we actually lost a bike. So that don't show it's growing. And there's more bikes out there, Joe. The problem is funding. Funding's a big deal.
For everybody.
And that's in everything. That's in WFO radio. And, that's why we got to push Redline. They got to have sales or they can't help nobody. They can't promote. They can't do. So that's the way everybody is. Total Seal rings. I mean, if you're not selling product, you can't help the sport that you love.
Right. It's a wheel. In the end, it's a wheel. The money's got to flow. Okay, let me ask you this. Would you be interested in like a new participant in Top Fuel Motorcycle if we could get him to do it? Let's bring on our Pro Stock Motorcycle race winner, Gaige Herrera. So you had a relationship, Larry, with Austin Prock through Jimmy Prock because of the nitro thing. What about Gaige through the motorcycle thing? Do you know this guy?
Well, let me tell you, I can tell you a little story about Gaige back in Indianapolis. I don't even know how many years ago when he was just a little kid running around through Don Plesser's trailer, through our pits. I mean, Gaige was everywhere. So we've known Gaige for a long time, a lot of years. And, he's a class act. What can I say? Who would you have never known that as coming up as a kid? Because he was wild running through there. So,
oh, yeah? I thought you were going to tell me like an embarrassing story about Gaige.
No, I ain't got none of them on Gaige yet. I mean, I'm looking for him, but no, he's top notch.
Gaige, would you do that? What Larry does? Would you like make a run? Like if he said, hey, we'll serve it up for you, Gaige?
Maybe. I don't know. On his bike, I know I for sure can't reach, but no, what he does is just, it's crazy, incredible, and insane, really. I mean, watching those Top Fuel bikes and the way you got to manhandle it to get down the track, it takes a lot. And Larry's the best out there. I mean, he's the best motorcycle drag racer as far as I'm concerned in general. I mean,
genuine legend.
Yep, he is. I mean, I've always looked up to him as a little kid. I always had his posters on my walls and stuff. So to be able to run around, his pit was Plesser's boy. When I was a little kid, it is just it's a memory that's always embedded in my brain. It's just those were the days, and in the AMA days and racing back then. It was just incredible, and getting to experience it with Spiderman back then. that's all time for me.
Larry, before we let you go, you know, this guy, he's dominating, right? It's amazing. But now it looks like he's got some competition. Matt Smith has always been competition, but they're coming at him. What do you think about that? What are we seeing in Pro Stock Motorcycle?
Matt's always going to be good. I mean,
yes.
Matt's been doing it a long time. He's good. I mean, Angie's good. I mean, Matt Smith's Racing's got a lot of good riders on there. I mean, look what John Hall was doing this weekend. So had an unfortunate deal. I don't know, air in the transmission, whatever happened.
There was a crack. I think I heard in the chassis, let the air out, and they couldn't. They had no air, basically.
Then Braden Davis, I've known him before he was born, right? I mean, so it's a kind of an awesome deal. And, you know, actually they brought a kid on that in their team now they brought on somebody that could actually, I mean, he's in the league with Gaige. He's in the league with Ricky Gadsden. I mean, with Richard Gadsden. The thing about Braden, he is not a rookie, okay? This kid's not a rookie. He might be a rookie in pro stock, but this kid's been riding a motorcycle since he could walk. So, you know, he rode Pro Extreme bikes, you know, nitrous bikes, turbo bikes, 460 bikes. I mean, it's like Gaige. I mean, Gaige, yeah, he was a rookie in pro stock, but he had been racing motorcycles for a lot of years. And pro stock takes finesse. You know, just one little move the wrong way, you just cut a tenth of a second off of your run. So, you know, Gaige and them brought their own competition. So, I mean, it's the Vance and Hines team right now. There's two words for it: badass.
Excellent work. All right, Gaige, we're going to put you back in the red room. We're going to say goodbye to Larry. We're going to bring you up in just a couple seconds.
Sounds good. Good talking to you, Larry.
Always a pleasure, Gaige. Take care, man.
There he goes, Gaige Herrera. We'll see from him in a minute. Larry, thank you so much for joining us on WFO Radio. When is the next race for the Pingle Top Fuel Motorcycles?
We're in Brainerd. We're off for about a month, so we're in Brainerd. So looking forward to going back. Only thing I don't look forward about Brainerd is the drive. But Brainerd's a great race. It's a lot of fun. So I really look forward to that. And then, of course, in September, we'll be at Charlotte. So it's going to be a great time. I mean, I look forward to it and look forward to seeing you and seeing all my whole family, you know, because drag racing is a big family.
100%.
And I love going. I love seeing everybody. So it's awesome.
Larry, thank you very much.
I can't say enough about Pro Stock Bike right now, Joe.
Yeah.
If you look at the setup that Pro Stock has, you start going down the line of how many quality riders there are out there today. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Look what Destiny Spurlock did this weekend.
Amazing.
10th. You know, and there again, she's an excellent rider, Joe. So it's she's going to show you more. It's going to be good. I mean, you know, we had Herrera there this weekend. It was awesome. I mean, the field was stacked this weekend.
Well, that Mission Foods graphic, right? It's Gaige, it's Richard, it's Chase, it's Braden, and like, who are these guys? 4 years ago, none of them were known quantities to really anybody.
Well, it goes to show you that the words that were said a few years or a couple of years ago or a year ago, whatever it was going on, I think about 2 years ago, that the class was falling. Well, I didn't see the class falling this week. I saw 17 quality motorcycles.
Yeah.
That shows me it's growing.
It's great stuff. No, I love it. And this is a motorcycle-centric show, and that 2 of the 3 guests are riding the bikes. All right, Larry, thank you very much. Let's get back to work. Congratulations to you and Steve and the whole team.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe. Have a great day.
There goes Larry, Spiderman, McBride with us here on WFO Radio. Very exciting time for Pro Stock Motorcycle. Certainly, we're going to speak with the most recent winner on the tour just seconds from now. Mr. Gaige Herrera will join us. Stick around.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
Available at summit-racingequipment.com. You must have a can of Foggit around the shop and around the house. Foggit.com as well. All right, let's bring him on. He got the job done. He's like, all of a sudden, he's fighting off like a pack of crazed dogs that are nipping at his heels, but he's doing a great job so far, Mr. Gaige Herrera. All right, Gaige, hearing Spider-Man talk about you that way and setting the scene for Pro Stock Motorcycle, that gets me excited. What about you?
Yeah, it gets me excited too, you know, but brings a lot more competition, which, you know, it's exciting, and it's going to make the class that much more interesting. You know, like Larry said, there was a bunch of talk that the class was dying, but, you know, this last weekend, there's a lot of new young people, new faces out there, you know, Braden, Brandon Litton, you know, Destiny Spurlock. I mean, so that just goes to show the interest in the class. I feel like ever since I've kind of stepped foot and showed everyone that it's possible to do it. You know, I did on my own at first for a couple races, and then I was lucky to get picked up by Vance Hines. It just goes to show if you put your head down and work hard, and you know, anything's possible. So I feel like it opened up a big window in people's eyes that they could do it for sure. And it's exciting, you know, to be an outsider looking in and seeing it grow.
Yeah, well, it's pretty exciting. You get all these young, fresh faces, but they're young, fresh faces to those of us who have only focused on NHRA drag racing and thus pro stock motorcycle. There's a whole motorcycle drag racing community that know all of you guys, right? And then all of a sudden it's, I don't want to say minor league, but if you follow someone in a series or a local series or at a local track and they make it to like the major leagues, which is what I think NHRA is, I feel like that's what we're seeing. And hopefully each one of you guys brings your people with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we're all from the sanctioned bodies where there's 1,000 motorcycles plus, you know, so we're bringing that side of the motorcycle community interest to NHRA, which is very cool. I mean, you know, we have a lot of other bike races at Virginia. So, I mean, I've probably seen, I would say 80, I mean, at least 80 people that I know that I race with and, you know, the other sanctioned body at NHRA this last weekend, which is very cool, you know, to have them come out and support me, Richard, Braden, Brandon, Destiny, you know, Chase, you know, just all of them. I mean, they're even friends with Matt Smith and, you know, Eddie Kravick and them when they used to do the other racing back in the day. So, you know, it's very cool to have everyone's interest back in the NHRA. You know, I feel like when I was probably 15 or even younger, I felt like it was really up and down on people that watched NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle back in the day, because it did get a little stale, I would say. But now it's, you know, all the interest is, I feel like, in the Pro Stock Motorcycle, not only because of drama, but because of the new people and tough competition. So it's a exciting time for a Pro Stock Motorcycle for sure.
It is wide open and everybody's good. Like everyone's at the top of their game. All right, give me the intel on Destiny. You know, we learned that she knows how to ride by her 60 foot. She had a great, like, you know, what was it? 106, 60 foot on the V-twin. Like, it was like, oh, okay, that's something. A bike that's not her own, Hector's bike. She's only been on it a few times. But what do you know of this young lady?
I've known her from XDA. You know, I think I met her about 3, maybe 4 years ago. You know, she was doing bracket racing at first, and then she got into 460, which that's a very tough bar bike class. And then she's doing like real street, which is a heads up, no bar. She rides all motorbike. I believe goes like 740s, 730s. No wheelie bar, street tire. So she's a very good rider. She's a very nice person. I mean, I can't say nothing bad about her. I mean, I've known her for not that long, but from what I have, you know, been around her and stuff, she holds herself very well. I mean, she's just a fun person to be around, like personality wise. But I feel like she's gonna bring a lot more excitement to the Pro Stock Motorcycle just with her personality, and she's an awesome rider. I mean, she actually outqualified Hector this weekend, making her debut on his bike. So that was pretty cool to watch.
Wow. Yeah. I hadn't thought that about it, but yeah, now that you mention it, Gaige, that's wild. That's wild. Let's talk about Braden Davis. Let's talk about like blowing kisses at each other. Let's talk about like what we already know. Matt, like I want to give Matt and Angie great respect because they are extremely tough, but to us, they're a known quantity. We know what we're going to get between you guys. That is a entrenched rivalry that goes back decades with Andrew and Eddie and Matt and Angie and Steve Johnson. Like that's the known quantity. Now we got Braden's blowing you kisses on the starting line and you guys are like taking each other to task on the track. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, he's an awesome rider, awesome individual. And he's young. He's like 19 years old. So, you know, for him to be that confident and, you know, that just goes to show, you know, he's really good on the motorcycle and he's comfortable. You know, he said in Bristol, every time he's lined up against me, he gets nervous, and him blowing kisses and doing stuff like that, helps him not be as nervous, which is kind of the same with me. It's easier to go up there and have fun and kind of block out everything else and just go out there and do what you need to do on the motorcycle. And he kind of seems the same way talking to him. And but I mean, he's very consistent and a good rider on the tree. So I knew, and we're basically on the same bike. So it's, try to get any advantage you can, whether you can get in their head or not. But, he's got a strong head on his shoulders. It's only going to get better and better. Right now, I don't think he has the funding for any more races, but I hope he's able to get back out there. He's going to be a force to reckon with, no matter what bike he's on. I have a feeling he's going to try to get back on our rental bike or another bike that's just as competitive. But, he definitely came out here and showed everyone that it's possible and that he's got the skill. I knew he had the skill from running Pro Mod, Pro Extreme, and bracket bike stuff. And juniors. I mean, he's done a lot in a short time, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him. He's very well spoken, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone picks him up or if he gets the funding to, rent that same bike. Hopefully the rest of the season. But he'll definitely be a thorn in my side for sure.
The rental bike, like with the win in Chicago, the rental bike is now vaulted to the top of okay, man, everybody who thinks they can ride a pro stock motorcycle, go give your money to Andrew. Get on it and see if you can duplicate what Gaige and what Braden have done. Like, he didn't win the race, but he had a bike that could have won the race, and we saw it. He won a Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. If you want to put yourself into the spotlight of NHRA drag racing, that's the way to do it. Because 2 weeks ago, I didn't know Braden, and now I think he's awesome. Just like that. All right, let's talk about the final round against Angie. She had a great race. She dealt with some wild stuff, the wheelie bar cover coming off. Left on you a little bit in the final, but you were able to drive around.
Yeah, she did. Austin was talking about the tricky racetrack. I mean, I think we had 150-degree track temp, which is pretty insane. And I got to give the credit to all the, NHRA guys, track guys that, kept the track as consistent as they could throughout the day. So we were definitely adjusting our clutch throughout the day, and it was actually hurting my reaction times. I felt like I was killing the tree, and it just wasn't reacting. So, I had a 65 light, I believe, that Angie's, she had a 40 something. So I definitely got lucky there as far as driving around her. It's not too often you see a Suzuki outrun a Buell in speed. So I got lucky there. Andrew put a awesome tune up in it and basically rang his neck to help me out, to get the win light. But, it was a good run. I mean, in the semis, when she had that wheelie bar panel fly off and then the front brake lock up, it was scary just to watch. I mean, it kind of reminded me of her St. Louis crash. So I was hoping, that wasn't going to happen again. We never want to see a fellow competitor have anything like that happen. So I'm glad she was fine with that. And to see her beat Matt, that was pretty exciting. Gets me a little more cushion in the points for the, I guess, the first half of the championship. But it's always fun racing Angie. She's just as good as Matt and got good equipment, and I mean, she's fun to race. I respect her a lot. She's been in the class a lot, so it's always good racing Angie. And then I raced Braden in the semis. We both had, I had a 44 light to his 40, and based off the 6 foot and everything, that race would have been down to like probably a couple inches. I know I raced against Angie, was 14 inches, but I bet against Braden, if he didn't have the transmission issue, it probably would have been, probably 4 or 5 inches at the margin. So just all day was very good racing, not only with me, but with all the competitors. It was tight.
Yeah, hot though. Too hot.
No, yeah, really hot.
Too much Mother Nature. Too much weather. Blake says, congratulations. Fast Eddie saying congratulations. Keith says, Vance and Hines know how to hire drivers. That's for certain. Congratulations again. And this one, congratulations. See you in Norwalk, says Matt. See you in Norwalk. Let's talk Norwalk a little bit, right? Trying to get yourself an ice cream scoop. Everybody goes there for the specialized trophy. Great fans. Every class that you can imagine is there. Bader puts on a great show.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the Baders put on an awesome show. It's an awesome facility, just all around top notch, and they got good ice cream. So I know
Are you ready for that? Are you ready for ice cream?
I don't know. You just don't announce it on here. I can't be telling Andrew about it.
No, I understand. I'm with you. We're like this. Yeah, just ice cream is great. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it's cool what they do. I mean, the ice cream is like great. I mean, being in that competition, Gianna's won it the last 2 years, so I'm gonna see if I can, put up a run for my money against her. But
you just said don't say it, and then you said it.
But
Gianna doesn't know. The cat is now out of the bag.
Hey, so we'll see. Hopefully Mother Nature cooperates this weekend too. I've seen it might be a little wet, but it's really up and down as percentage wise throughout the all weekend. But it could change in 5 minutes here in the Midwest, so we'll see.
We'll get it in. We'll get it in. That's it. Oh, yeah. We've proven that we'll get it in, and there'll be some time for you to be signing some autographs, if nothing else. Gaige, great job. Thank you for always coming on the show. I appreciate it. I always learn something. Look, pro guys, car guys, like if you don't like motorcycles by birth, right, you got to think of it a big picture. Drag racing is the same thing, but we want everybody to get into it, right? Well, get into the bikes. There's a new fresh face for you to follow. It doesn't have to be Gaige. It could be any one of several other people. And for you companies out there looking to sponsor someone, same deal. Get on board with one of these racers. Gaige, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Joe. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. See you in a few days. Gaige Herrera with us here on WFO Radio. And Andrew, listen, we're just kidding around. It's like, But the ice cream eating contest is a huge social media opportunity. Originally put forth to be the direct and head-to-head competition to the 4th of July hot dog eating contest put on by Nathan's, garnered worldwide hype and notice. So why not do an ice cream eating contest at America's Racetrack, Summit Racing Equipment, NHRA Nationals? And what it is, because we don't believe in gluttony in the world of drag racing. Like, we do shorter runs and we see how quick you are. So they get a pint of ice cream, and whoever consumes the most of it in 1 minute. And our past champions are Jim Campbell and Angie Smith, and others have been championed. But Gianna Evaristo was the first ever back-to-back champion. And she has come in. I spoke with her earlier this week, and she said she is ready to defend her title. She is eager. Although she is lactose intolerant, she puts that aside. And so we're going to be doing it again. You can go back onto YouTube and you can find on NHRA social media feeds the previous ice cream eating contest from Norwalk. But it is becoming a big deal, and people are taking it seriously. And it's only a pint of ice cream, man. It's not that big a deal. We do it on Friday. You're not even running for anything intense. No points, no nothing. We're doing it. We've adjusted our schedule because I know that, people want to be absolutely razor sharp for eliminations. But thank you to all who have agreed to participate. All right, guys, I want to talk about the Langdon DQ. I want to get your comments and commentary. I have some things to say about it. We're going to read the two official statements, and we're going to start with a just the facts basis. Before we do that, though, get your comments in the comment section. I do want to talk about the people who all make it possible for me to go WFO. Before we do that, though, Life's a Drag. These guys, they're being talked about. People at the track are talking about Life's a Drag. They like the fact that it's not just drag racing. It's drag racing and a drag racing audience and the behind the scenes topics of drag racing, but they'll cover other things as well. Regular life things you might have encountered, and you want to hear what people's takes are about certain issues. So check out Life's a Drag, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. And it'll be in the WFO podcast feed, but like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and tell your friends. We have got some amazing sponsors, but they would not be getting coverage if we weren't on great networks like Powertube TV, where the new Pinks show resides. Bruno Massel is the new host of Pinks. They just recorded it all, and it'll be on Powertube TV, where WFO Radio is. So download the app to Powertube TV. And that just increases the span and the scope for our audience and people who have helped us, like Right Trailers, 83331 Right Trailers nationwide. So much investment in the sport of NHRA drag racing, and helped me out with Project Pontiac greatly. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com is where you go. And the Dragster Adventure is if you want to drive a dragster, but not invest very much money. That's the thing. Like if you want to go get your license and you want to borrow your buddy's car and you're getting a helmet and you're getting a fire suit and you're getting gloves and you're getting everything and you're going out there and you're paying for him to bring the car and you could drop a couple of $1,000s before you even decide if you like it. You can drive a dragster at Frank Hawley's for $500. You and your buddies go out there and spend the day out there. Like what kind of a day experience is that inexpensive? He brings everything. You bring nothing. You got to show up with the clothes on your back and be ready to have a great time. frankhawley.com. It's called the Dragster Adventure. Bernie Speed Shop. They got 100,000 square feet up there in Ocala, Florida. They do frame off restorations. They do high level everything. Started out going door to door, detailing cars. Josh and Brittany Hart have built this thing into a cornerstone of Ocala. When you think of Ocala, Florida, what's the first thing you think about? Garlets. What's the first thing a lot of people think about? It's horses. That's where a lot of the thoroughbred horses get trained. Kentucky Derby type stuff. It's all in Ocala. Bernie Speed Shop, right there on the podium for things you think about when you're talking about Ocala, Florida. And you just got to go to their website. Check them out. Check their inventory. Maybe you want to buy a cool classic or exotic car. Bernie's. Maybe you want to sell a cool classic or exotic car. Bernie's. Maybe you're looking to buy an e-bike. Maybe you're looking to go to a fan fest before the Gator Nationals. Bernie's. So check them out, bernies.com. Already told you about Hussey Performance. Me and Larry McBride just dropped the mic when it came to Redline Oil. And they're out there watching. And Redline guys, thank you so much for supporting WFO Radio. It's a community. It's a diehard community of racers and race fans who follow along each week. We always shout out to CWT Industries, Randy Neal and Company, Balance Machines for Machine Shops, FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. They're working on my converter for Project Pontiac as we speak. It'll go back in the car after Norwalk. I'm really excited. We loosened it up a little bit. That's part of FTI. They take a shot at the stall speed, and if they're a little off, which we were slightly off from where we wanted to be, they make it right. And so that's where it's back at. Great stuff. Thank you, FTI. Total Seal Piston Rings, Jesse Converters, and everybody who helps us here on WFO Radio. We really appreciate everybody, even Matt in Australia with Torque Calibration Services of Australia. All right. We've got a whole bunch of comments in the comment section. Justin Ashley, the Top Fuel winner, not on the show. Langdon got there first. Langdon was the winner until later on. I heard some stir about something went on with tech. And now it is all out. It is all out. And I know people, guys, I'm not going to scold everyone about their extreme emotional reactions on social media. I have understood now that social media and Facebook and your personal Facebook pages is no different than you like leaning over to your friend making a flippant comment. It's not legal. You're not in a court. It's not well thought out. It's not meant to be reflective of your parents' uplifting of you, raising of you. Not meant to be that. It's just a dumb comment that you're making. But there were a lot of dumb comments that were made about the speed with which it happened. It needs to happen rapidly, whether or not it's a good idea or a bad idea. Like, we're going to get into that. I'm going to give you my thoughts. But first, the important statement of what happened. What had happened was... This is from NHRA, Top Fuel update. Sean Langdon's run from the Top Fuel final round in Sunday's Virginia Motorsports Park has been disqualified. Statement of fact. The disqualification is due to a rulebook violation related to missing bolts on the bell housing inspection cover. Per the NHRA rulebook and related to SFI Spec 6.2, the cover is required to be secured by no less than 12 bolts. During a post-run inspection, the cover on Langdon's dragster did not meet the requirement of the 12 secured bolts. The final round run has been disqualified, and as a result, runner-up Justin Ashley has been awarded the event victory. Statements of fact from the NHRA. Don't worry, we'll go into it. We'll go into it a little bit more. Coletta Motorsports made an official statement. How will they handle it? The font is very small, so I'm going to try my best. I can't see this. Coletta Motorsports, I'm not that bad just yet. Oh, you kids, don't make fun. It's going to happen to you, right? It's going to happen to you. And I'm not putting readers on the air. I'm not there yet. I still have some semblance of shame. I'm still going to try to tough it out. I just need more light. That's all. It's going to happen to you. And when it does, I'm going to laugh. Deep down, I will laugh. All of you. Coletta Motorsports regrets to announce the following Sean Langdon's approval. Dude, I can't even read my own writing. Go see I should have made it bigger. Yeah, you're catching me in a funny moment. Coletta Motorsports statement is on the web. Yeah, I made it too small. That's me. It's on me. And I take responsibility. And you know what? Coletta Motorsports took responsibility, and they will have no further statement. Because I read it earlier and I memorized that part. They took responsibility. The bolts vibrated loose. They say the bolts vibrated loose, and I take them at what they say. I can understand how someone out there might say, well, how do we know that? Like, how do we know? Someone might say that. I'm going to take them at what they say. The bolts vibrated loose and were in the belly pan. They were not on the car. They were in the belly pan, and that's that. And they will not have any further comment. Clearly, they're disappointed. Not as disappointed as I am that I couldn't read this thing. Now, probably more. But, so here we are. A lot of people with a lot of really insane statements out there in the NHRA universe on personal Facebook pages. I'm perusing them, friends with all these racers. And they're like, it seems that the majority of the commentary is surrounding taking away the win. And I agree. Taking away the win. They were in clear violation of something. Is that something important, or is it the kind of something we can just blow off? So I did a little bit of research. I talked to some racers, and I have heard of racers. I talked to a couple that said that they have had runs DQ'd for not having all the bolts on the cover. Why is that a problem? As I understand it, the SFI spec for the safety of the bell housing cover only works with the cover in place, the strength of it that keeps the top fuel clutch inside this case of safety. So if it were to come apart, where's all that stuff going to go? It's going to go everywhere. And that SFI spec only matters. It's only safe if the cover is in place, which implies, no, it doesn't imply, it's a statement of fact, that if the cover is not in place securely, then it's not as safe for anybody involved. So that seems like a serious deal. What difference does it make if it's the final round or not the final round? And that's where I get tripped up. Like, I would love for them to have not taken the win. Like, I would love for that to be the end of the logic flow. There's a flow, like if then. Everything is if then. If this, then this. You know, I get emotional. I want things. But sometimes that's not right. And, well, it wasn't a performance enhancer. It doesn't have to be an performance enhancer. It's not about it. Some people will tell you that safety stuff is even more important than performance enhancers. But at the end of the whole line, were the bolts in there? No, they weren't. Is that a violation? Yes, it is. What happens typically? The run's DQ'd, but it's the final. So are we going to start allowing things to happen in the final rounds? That, like, I don't know. And that's why I'm not the tech guy. And that's not why I'm like vice president of competition. But in the end, they have to maintain a credibility. And so they did what they would normally do. They DQ'd the run. Now you got to have a winner. Justin Ashley and his team did not want to win like this. It is my understanding, and I've heard this anecdotally, don't take this as official, but they went down there with the Wally and photos. They wanted to document it for National Dragster, posterity, for NHRA.com. And the guys at Justin's team said, nah, we don't want to win like that. We don't want to like celebrate this win. Now the points are going to go to them, and I assume they'll take the money, but I don't know. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But they didn't want to like revel in it. Justin had left. They didn't want to revel in it. So it's all about, you know, it's real easy to sit on the sidelines and say what you would do, but the second you did it, there would be a controversy about it. If they gave Langdon the win and just took 50 points or whatever they would do, I'm sure there would be a lot of people complaining about that as well. Now, a lot of people think it took too long. took too long. Oh, it took too long. I don't know what the right amount of time is for something like that. I know that for years, many people clamored for a more active tech department. They clamored for a cop on the beat checking out things. And now they've got it. And now some people don't like it. But here's the thing. And this is why it all comes back to, personal, how you react to stuff. I am pretty confident in saying that 30% of the people will be angry at whatever the decision. 30% will be angry. So if they gave Langdon the win, but they took money and points, there would be 30% that would go and freak out and say horrible and hateful things about whoever it was that made the decision. I really believe that. And if they decided, I guess in the old days, they could have just swept it under the rug. Like, that's the thing that no one's saying, that maybe years ago, a tech person would have gone to them and said, guys, don't do that again. And swept it under the rug. And maybe you want to race in a world where they do that. But I'm pretty confident the day that the person that beats you in the final round is illegal and the tech department goes to them and says, don't do it again, you will be upset. And so, or makes you less safe, or you follow my train of thought, you get it. And, like reading a lot of people, some super gas racers talking about how they should have Langdon should have let his engine blow on the, I don't even follow the logic of that one. Or then NHRA shills will just tell you why. Like, why personalize this? Will they find Langdon 100 points like they did Erica? Totally different situation. And that's where I came to the conclusion that Facebook and social media is just people really pooping out their energy. It really is. Just making comments that aren't really, like, if we take one of those people and we put them on the stand and we make them, swear an oath, as if that matters anymore, by the way, swear an oath to tell the truth, would they take it a little more seriously and think about the person who has to make the judgment and all the information they've got to gather to make the judgment and the gravity and the importance of making the judgment? Coletta Motorsports, Justin Ashley, all that goes into it. What if the story comes out that someone patted someone on the back and said, yeah, just don't do it again? We're in a different universe now. That doesn't work anymore. That's no longer acceptable. And the final thing I saw a lot of people say was, oh, now they're becoming a lot like NASCAR. Like what? Like taking the rules seriously? Like trying to police the sport as if it's a serious thing? Think about the people that wagered on Play NHRA. Think about that. Like I plunked down $10 on Langdon to win, which I think is a good play. And now, you know what? Oops. This is a very serious thing. This is a serious sport. It's not just like friendly, participation anymore. Not that it ever was, but anybody thinks it's okay to just pat on the back and say, yeah, don't do that again. That might have been something that happened maybe years ago. It can no longer happen now. If you can't penalize for something that you don't see, but when you see it, then what can you do? Like, honestly, let's see what people out there have to say. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. You're about to, new segment. Change my mind. When is the last time they overturned the end race result? I can't think of one, nor can I. But we're in a new universe now. As I understand it, racers wanted more tech inspection. This is part of modernizing the sport. And with that will come some policing. Now, Clay was out of spec for his wing. They DQ'd a run, and he owned up to it on social. It's not the kind of thing, we got to lose this. Like, if you're out of spec, you're an evil cheater. I feel like. It depends on what you do. If you show up with a 540 cubic inch engine and a 500 cubic inch engine, then you're an evil cheater. We can make that judgment. Blake, I'm a little sick today. WFO is the best medicine. Thank you, Blake. I appreciate you, buddy. Clay had a qualifying round DQ'd. Tech wasn't playing around. Should they play around? The other thought process that has come out of it that I think, everyone is working on it, and just people, they want to personalize it against the NHRA. Like, that's really what it is. I would love to debate, but why would I? They just want to personalize it. People come, they go, they're told to do their job a certain way. They do the job the best of their ability. But one thing you can guarantee is that people are not going to be satisfied. 30%, no matter what. It's sad, though, because all they're doing is taking themselves out of the game. People want more tech. Should that have been discovered before they ran? Hey, guys, like, you don't have the thing, what you gotta have that. Coletta says they vibrated out on the run. Is that true? Like, I don't know. I take them at their word. They can't vibrate out on the run because then it's not safe. You want a clutch exploding? Yeah. Say it. Appreciate the opportunity. Jeff is out there. I think there's not top fuel teams, and NHRA shouldn't rock the Coletta ship. I know safety is huge. I don't know exactly what you mean. Not many top fuel teams, and NHRA shouldn't rock the Coletta ship. I don't really know what your point is. Some have said that Connie Coletta is going to get mad and go away. Like, no, their statement says otherwise. So if that's what you feel with your emotions, yeah, they've made a statement that says not that. If I can follow the rules, you can. Again, they say they vibrated out. Now, I've heard, like, again, what's the difference of going down the road? They've accepted the penalty. It does feel weird. I give you that. But it's not an easy, clear-cut call. That's what I'm debating with everybody out there who is bothered to, like, really personalize it. It's not a clear, easy call, guys. It's not. Ralph's viewing in Florida. Thank you, Ralph. The vision struggle is real, no doubt. Embarrassing moment. Life's a Drag loved it, though. Good luck with your show, guys. You should have made the font bigger, I guess. Joe, eat some ice cream for me, please. I can't wait to see you in Norwalk next year. It's going to be great. Mark Banks, maybe guy from Australia can calibrate their torque wrench. Oh, no. I'm not blaming anybody for anything. I don't do that. I've gone down the track 12 times in the last year, and it was hard to make everything right. And so, there by the grace of God go I when it comes to making a mistake or some sort of mistake. But it was discovered. They noticed it. Now you only got a couple of choices. It's like the police officer who doesn't let you go, right? I guess he could let you go, but when his supervisor is there watching, he can't let you go. NASCAR disqualified many drivers after that failed post-race inspection. Yeah. So I guess these people don't like that either. They want to go back to the days of cheating or being out of spec and not getting caught. I get it. Smokey Eunuch, that was fun. But when it's happening against you, I bet you don't like it. That's the thing. Most of the people I see complaining are racers themselves. So somebody's got like some sort of, laser sight that sees the light and they're 10 every time and they go and they whoop your butt. And you want the tech department to say, hey, don't bring it back. Here's the money. There you go. Oh, well, that's a performance. Okay. Somebody's not wearing their seatbelt and they're hanging out looking back and they got no seatbelt on. And then they hit the brake and they come into your lane. You're okay with that? No, you're not. Don't tell me that. Probably a dumb question. But if car blows up and wins the round, how is it inspected? Very carefully. When I race stock, I won a round because my opponent was 1 pound light. Right. No, listen, guy, it's okay. You're 1 pound light. So go put a pound in it next time and you'll be all right. And really, what's the difference between the first round and the final round? What's the difference? The guy who gets beaten is just as annoyed. well, you know, we want the win to happen. We want the race to be over. I think it's really hard to argue if someone's coming back at you making points. It's really easy to go to Facebook and post, yeah, everybody agrees. But then when someone makes it but a logic argument, yeah, but it's real hard. It's a communication issue, not a tech issue with the 24-hour putting out of a statement. So you got me on this. This is something that I feel like these things need to happen as rapidly as is possible. Totally agree. As rapidly as is possible. And maybe we're learning the muscle memory of the flow of this kind of thing now, because, it is kind of more new, rapid. What's the right amount of time? And I'm asking, I'm not telling. What's the right amount of time? As soon as is possible, obviously. You want to make this call as fast as is possible, as you understand it. You want to make the call as fast as is possible. Is 24 hours the wrong amount of time? NASCAR, don't they do all their stuff on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock? My thought process is, why do they go through tech after the run rather than before the run? It's not safe to go down the track when they're waiting for after a run. In this story, they were safe when they left and these bolts vibrated out, which is out of spec. And that should not happen. That's a point. So the cars were teching the cars right before the final. The tech guys are swarming all over the cars. And do the race teams want that? I don't know. There's a certain personal responsibility that goes into a lot of it, because everybody wants to be safe. I can tell you the Coletta guys definitely are dedicated to safety, top to bottom. Do they want those tech guys all over them in that point? I don't know. NHRA safety first. Opinions. That's it. A lot of people have opinions. You're allowed to have an opinion. 2005 Indy, Matt Smith, Steve Johnson. I had to look it up in the morning. It overturned the result. That's a good one. Yeah, there's one. And that was because of video evidence, and Matt still disagrees to this day. Clay was wing alignment. There is a rule book for a reason. The thing is, though, even if it's 5% of people that disagree or just malcontent, they can make a lot of noise on social media. It doesn't have to be so personal, though, guys. Honestly, friend to friend. It doesn't have to be so personal. I saw some commentary that, I think they're shaking their fist at the logo is really what it is. They're shaking their fist at the government. NHRA is the government. It's not my analogy. And they're just shaking they're not thinking about the people that are working their butts off behind the scenes to get everything right. We only got 500 cars to tech. NHRA Pro Mod last year. JR Gray took the win this past weekend. I want to shout out to JR. Great job. Funny interview. They took JR Gray wins away for a safety thing, not hooked up. Way to go, Fast Eddie. There you go. So it's not that out of the ordinary. It just hadn't happened in Top Fuel yet. Let's see. Police give tickets to people who break rules of driving. Same thing. They broke the rules. They were out of spec. Sometimes the police let you off. Sometimes. My issue is that Sean didn't come to the line in the final with the sheared bolts. They sheared off during the run, supposedly. So to me, he isn't cheating if the NHRA wants to penalize him for it. Okay, now we're splitting hairs. So I didn't know that they were sheared off, and I don't know that they're sheared off. I thought they vibrated out. That's in the statement that it's too small that I can't read. But I'll go back and double check. Check for tools. Not having the bolts on, penalize him with a fine or points deduction, but don't take the win away. Why not, though? They took JR's win away for a safety deal. This is a safety deal. It's not a performance deal. This is a safety deal. The pin, the parachute pins are in, and all the fire bottle pin, the run always gets DQ'd. If the guy beats someone first round, and that's the issue, why not take points away and let him keep racing then? Because that's the policy is that the run gets DQ'd. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying It's not worth the reaction that is happening. Like, it's worth a nice debate, thinking about it. I always get, slightly put off when people become extremely hostile and nasty, when it doesn't have to be that way. That's really what I'm saying right now. Like, something happened with Coletta. They're not getting nasty about it. Why should a bunch of people on social media? Maybe I shouldn't follow their pages, right? I shouldn't follow them. I shouldn't just not be aware, and then I wouldn't know. Look at the Indy 500. Threw car to the back of the pack the day after the event. Yeah, right. Was that wrong too? Andretti, they're pretty big. I think I've heard of them. Have y'all considered an ice cream eating contest in each individual class? No, we're not doing that. It's hard enough to get 5 people, period, let alone 5 in each category. We would burn through everybody in 2 years. Things happen you can't control. Does it scare you that nitro keeps going faster and faster? No, it doesn't. It doesn't scare me. 300 miles per hour, 300, 340. I know that they are working as hard as they can to keep the cars as safe as they can. And that's the conversation we're having right now. You want 340? Then you have to have safety tech. It's kind of connected. Feel bad for Sean. No doubt. Sean's walking to the media center. I see him. Good win, man. Congratulations. He was into it. Like, it was a good win. It was a great win. They got the finish line first. Like, it's not, there's nothing that's going to take that away. That part of it stinks. Challenges to technical call. To Ralph, let's put together some sentences, buddy. Sunday night, I think the statement should have been put out saying, hey, this happened, and looking at this instead of people wondering and guessing and spreading rumors. They did put out it's under review. Immediately, they put out it's under review. So we're getting our facts straight. There's a process. And I wasn't there for the process, so I can't say. But all right, now, the process, we're solving an accident investigation. I don't want to make it a crime, but we're investigating something. We're figuring out who knew what, when, and what happened, and what's the situation, and where are the bolts, all of these things. But now we're putting ourselves on the clock. People are going to spread rumors no matter what. You know that. Good to see you at VMP this weekend, along with Dave and Sue Morris. They got down to the quarterfinals. Good to chat with them, too. Lots of those unhappy people that will find anything to complain about the NHRA. But you know what, Monica? It's the thing that bothers me. These are people that I see at the NHRA. These are people that they clearly, again, I'm personalizing it, too. I'm the jerk here. They're personalizing it. They're at the races. They go to the races. They hold up the wallies. They celebrate. They know that, the people that are working here are not evil people by any means. And yet they are very happy to tell people how evil the people are. It's not right. It's just not right. It's not right. I should name names. If you think it's you, reach out to me on social media and I'll be happy to discuss it with you very cordially. Bet next time it won't be overlooked by any team. Hey, did we just make the sport way safer by making sure that every team just made sure that their clutch cover is on? I think we did. The statement from Coletta does seem to say, yeah, one of you guys could have put it up in the chat. That would have been nice of you. Does say some of the bolts rattle loose, not sheared off. Thank you, Mac. It's a rulebook thing. Joe, is a bolt shearing a more common occurrence than we're led to believe? Okay, so Lonnie, I don't know where you got this shearing. I haven't seen the shearing. I've seen vibrated out. So you'd have to show me that. You see, we can't even get our facts straight right here. You're welcome, Joe. And this is the first time that I've heard of NHRA disqualifying a win because of missing bolts on the inspection cover of the bell housing. Sounds a little weird to me, says Blake. Yeah, no, but it's not the first time that a win has been taken away for a safety, being out of spec on something safety related. It's not. It's the first time it's happened in Top Fuel. He doesn't have to, but I wonder if Justin Ashley's camp will make a statement. Yeah, I don't need to wonder that. No, they're not. They're moving on to Norwalk. I reached out. At 72 years old, the only thing the only thing not working is my eyes. Oh, only hope eyes is the only thing not working. Thanks. Something to look forward to there, Bill. And there you have it. Guys, lots to talk about in the NHRA. Lots of interesting stuff. People are up, people are down. People are happy, people are sad. People are sad, then they're happy. People are happy, then they're sad. It's great. There's all kinds of interesting stuff. No, people have suggested that it's a storyline, like the things I wanted to print out. I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been another embarrassing moment. I wanted to print out many of the comments that I saw on the post. I encourage you to go to NHRA's social feeds and see the mentality of the general public, our devoted fans, and just like think about them. Just look what they wrote and think about them and think like, man, is that a well thought out opinion? Because this person typed it in and pressed send and they put it on there. It's kind of scary, actually, if you think about it. There's a lot to talk about, though. Guess what? We got Pro Stock coming back. Yeah, Pro Stock. Erica Enders. We got the Getrix Pro Stock All-Star call out. Who's Greg Anderson going to call out? That's interesting. That's exciting. Sean Langdon and those guys going to have something to prove. They're going to have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, no doubt. We're going to Norwalk. We got our ice cream eating contest. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll inject some levity into an intense situation. And I mean this like wholeheartedly. I'm genuinely, the people tell me the worst thing about me is that I'm a little too positive about things, like the positive spin. But don't worry. I get down on things. And it's really when I see like hatred and rage and anger, unfortunately misutilized. There's a time and a place for that. This isn't it. It's not it. And you want to talk to me about it? You think I'm misrepresenting comments? I'm down to talk. I'll be in Norwalk. I don't get it. Now, NHRA needs to always strive to do better. You need to always strive to do better. Be better, work faster, create a policy. I think that's what they're doing now. I think you're going to see more of this. So I think it's on the race teams to not give them anything. Speaking with some of the tech directors, they're on the beat. You talk about, like, I hate comparing it to crime because crime is horrible. But if there's a cop on the corner, there's the likelihood that someone's going to try to mug someone goes down. It's just the way it is. The tech department in the past few races has spoken. They are on the lookout. And they're trying to make sure that the sport is officiated appropriately. What will you do? And we get to find out the rest of the season. All right, guys, appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you for dealing with my rantings and craziness. We've all got a little. WFO. Hey, check out Here from Heiner. It was great.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free Powertube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.